Bushwhacks were some of the worst days I've ever had in the mountains, or life, really.
Whereas Panther Mountain is totally opposite. It's a mountain on top of a crater.
I think the weather challenges on this incident were particularly difficult.
It was really the development of New York State. Catskills were responsible.
Now you're listening to Inside the Line, the Catskill Mountains podcast.
All right, let's get our settings correct because I have something to open up. Oh, God, why does this take so long for me?
Yeah.
You have this down. There we go. All right. I will open up first. Ready?
Rock and roll.
Oh, God. That's all over my phone and all over the goddamn laptop. God, why does that happen to me?
Does that mean we're not recording anymore?
Oh, we are.
What's that smoke? What's that smoke on your end?
Oh, and then there's
I think your
electrical
shirt's
problem.
on fire. Yeah, we have a little minor electrical fire at the Inside the Line headquarters. I see the fire rescue is coming through the window. All right. Is that a signal for me to open?
Absolutely.
You ready to go? Okay.
Ready to go. Oh, that was different.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that was incredible. Like, I heard every single bit of that. That was impressive.
Yeah, I've been practicing all week.
That was seriously, that was brand new after 200 some episodes. That was brand new.
It's in a bottle. I'm drinking out of a bottle tonight.
Nice. We'll chat about that later. So tonight, episode 206. So we have a chat with Kaitlyn Lupa, who talks about her rescue of her cat named Walter after 29 days of it escaping on North South Lake campgrounds. So amazing chat, just this high energy, all this in and out stuff of what's going on. It was just, it's wild. And
a story of suspense.
A story of suspense and the story of success, a happy ending.
Yeah, and she'll tell us about people that tried to con her out of the $1,200 reward that she had posted for Walter, her cat.
And I was one of them.
Yeah.
Donate to the podcast. I got them right here.
That's right. That bought a few hard ciders. And how Ranger Fox was hot on the cat's tail.
True.
Right.
True. So it's great. It's a great.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. All right. So first off, congrats to Sean, aka Off in the Woods Sean, for completing his 3,500. I missed that last week. Thank you, Sean, for tagging, let me know that I missed that. Once again, congratulations, 3,500. Awesome, freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's I look way back when I finished my first round. It was a pretty cool experience.
It was. It's something. I don't know. Like for me, it was a first sense of I accomplished something in a very long time. It was my first accomplishment besides my job, landing my job in a very long time. So it almost felt like my second diploma. It was that cool.
Yeah, I have to say I remember vividly finishing my first round, and I also have a somewhat vivid recollection of finishing the 4 season. Remarkably, it's finishing my winter round just kind of fades in there. It's almost like it's way back in some blizzard or something. But yeah, finishing your first round is special. So kudos to Sean.
Yeah. Let's hear what's next. So once again, we'll have a drink to you. Thank you, Sean. And thank you also, I forgot to say, thank you, Todd, for this Hudson North we're going to talk about later. So Winter Storm Fern. Crazy that we've gotten this first time in a while. We've gotten a winter storm up here. We got totals, amounts, Tad will go over me and you first. Oneonta, New York, we got a total of 12 inches. So nice, fluffy snow. I enjoyed shoveling it, but I also bought the first time in 40 years, I bought a snowblower this weekend. I've had enough.
Wow. So when you say you bought a snowblower, did you get one of those snow shovels, or was it a full-size snowblower?
I wouldn't say full size.
Sean Iannucci and I want to know. We want to know the four cycle, 2 cycle, pull start, electric start. Just the basics.
Electric, 18 inches wide. I think wide, maybe 25 inches tall. And I'd need it mostly for the backyard for the dog. I would say my driveway can fit 2 cars and then like a half a car, so it's nothing. So the backyard is what I'd like. I did the backyard and like I'm just like shoveling. I'm just like I've had enough. Like 40 years of doing being a kid, doing it for my parents, and then coming over here and doing it. Even like when I lived in a place where I didn't need to do it, and I still did it just for courtesy, like in an apartment. And now I'm just like, you know what? I see all these people. 99.9% of the people on my freaking street have a snowblower, and I don't. I look like the idiot. So I got one. So
what brand?
I have the batteries for it. So it's a Walmart brand Heart. I already have the batteries. It was, if I buy a new one, it would cost like $400 or $500 with new batteries.
Yeah. So this is a rechargeable battery powered blower. Yep. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I have three 40-volt batteries that should last. I mean, my one battery would last for this.
So you happy with it?
I haven't gotten it yet. I just ordered it.
Oh, okay. All right.
After this storm, I had enough. I'm just like,
so now we know it's not going to snow in Oneonta the rest of this winter,
right? That's what I'm just like. I'm sitting there like, I'm like, should I buy this? Should I buy this? And then I'm just like, it's not going to fucking snow after this. It's not going to snow, and it probably won't. So, I mean, I hear of a storm coming, but
I had to put my trusty old Husqvarna to rest after I think 1 or 2 storms this year.
Really?
And I had it. I bought it. My wife arranged for me to buy it from this estate. I bought it from a dead guy, technically, like more than 15 years ago. And man, that thing was like a diehard. It really, really ran well. And then all of a sudden, just like in 15 minutes, one thing leads to another, and it can never, ever be fixed again. And I was so disappointed. Because I had spent so many years with this thing. So I got a deal on another used snowblower this year. But I said to my wife when it got delivered to the house, I said, there you go. It's not going to snow the rest of this year. So I've already used it 5 times since I got it.
Wow. More than, last year, you said like for 21 days it snowed, but it was only light snow. We never had anything like this.
In the Catskills, not down here in the Hudson Valley. Alex says, we're in a different microclimate here. So we up in the Gunks or the Catskills, you guys can get inches, and down here we don't even see a snowflake.
True.
But going back to the snowstorm, we got about 18 inches, I would say, in the backyard. I thought we were going to have more because I did blow twice on Saturday to get a head start on the storm before it ended. And it was coming down pretty good, and it was really light and fluffy stuff. But after that, it turned into a wetter snow. And I think we only got like 4 to 6 inches after that overnight, if even that. And the new snowblower, I still like the old one. The old one was a beast.
Gas?
Yeah, they're both gas.
Same brand?
No, this one, my small engine guy, Joe, talked me into buying a Toro. Because he says they're the cat's meow. I'm not so sure. This is not the mountain lion of Toros. Let's just say that.
Nice. I mean, it's a big width and stuff like that. Do you have a lot to do that it can be?
Oh yeah, I have plenty on the one hand. I don't think this thing is as big as the last one. It's certainly a lot smoother, more refined than the last one. They both had electric start and all sorts of fancy stuff, but the controls on the last one I thought were just a lot. Well, I'll say this: I thought the controls on the last one were great, and so I've already used this new used one 5 times, and the projector discharge cable device broke yesterday, and I had to MacGyver it with some zip ties to get the job done.
Okay. All right. I mean, once again, it's good to have that one. Just like, once again, 12 inches. I was just like, I've had it. I'm done. I got to give it up. I don't want my back to hurt. And then, we can move on to what the Catskills got,
Sure,
and this is,
I'm sure everybody's tired of snowblower talk.
I know,
especially
right?
the
Right.
people down in the city and on the island, they're like, "What? Huh?"
Especially that, and the young people.
Yeah, doesn't the city blow your driveway? What do you mean?
Oh, the young people are probably like, these are freaking old pieces of shit. They don't know how to throw snow. So these are totals from like the National Weather Service that I've seen, kind of like roughly. They don't really give information, like good dot information on the Catskills. They just kind of give it to the big cities. But I heard Wyndham got 22 inches, Hunter 18 inches, which I can confirm that's not correct from today. West Shokin, so that's over in the Reservoir Olive Bridge area, got 24 inches of snow, which was the most from the snowstorm I heard in the area. And Denning 18 inches. So I kind of covered north, south, east, and west somewhat. So basically, bring your fucking snowshoes. Absolutely. Wear them. There's no way, with what I'll tell you later on, there's no way you can get through this without snowshoes. Even with what I did today, I didn't even get through it with snowshoes. So,
are you saying if you're on trail Sunday, climbing slide from the Slide Mountain parking area, there won't have been enough trail traffic before you to pack it in?
I heard somebody did like a halfway and then bailed today.
But by Sunday,
Sunday there might be.
Yeah. So it's my point is it's just going to change over time, and
it will.
The real thing is even though it's going to change over time and things are going to get packed in, what's not going to happen between now and Sunday is the drifting won't be over, and so when you're going to go into areas where there's going to be wind coming through the hardwood areas and the upper parts of the mountain, particularly in the calls, you're going to just deal with a lot of drifting, even though there hasn't been fresh snow in X number of days and there's been a lot of trail traffic. It's going to get all blown in for quite a while, at least through Sunday.
Yeah, and it was fluffy snow, so that snow was.
Yeah,
I battled drifts today with Todd that were 3 to 4 feet.
Wow.
So
yeah.
it's an easy, to be honest, this was an easy area. So we'll talk about that later. So
yeah. So moving on from easy areas to town of Denning, what's going on there?
Yeah. Well, what about the headquarters? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, the inside. Well, how much snow? You told us how much snow you got inside the line headquaters.
Oh, okay. Only on to. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, in the teens.
I wish I had a headquarters down in where would you say the central part of the Catskills is? Like
Central?
Pine Hill, Phoenicia?
Yeah, I would, if I had to pick where I would want to be the hub of the Catskills, and you told me it couldn't be Woodstock.
True.
I would have to go with Phoenicia.
Yeah, correct.
Right? If you had to pick between Pine Hill, Phoenicia, we'll put Margaretville and Arkville on the list. I said Phoenicia, Hunter, or Tannersville. Where would your hangout be if you could have a second home in the Cats, but it had to be in the Hamlet area? Where would you want it to be?
I mean, if it a Hamlet area, it would be Pine Hill. But
really, you'd go with Pine Hill?
I would say that's that's right below Bel Air, Panther. So it's kind of like in the central area, adjacent to kind of.
When's the last time you went out for a drink in Pine Hill?
Oh God, it's been a while.
Okay, that's the end of my argument. When's the last time you went out for a drink in Phoenicia?
Phoenicia was in the summer.
Mm-hmm. How often? When's the last time you went to Brios? In the summer?
That was in the summer. That was for the what's it called? Kim Levinsky's The Long Path.
Okay. Yeah, I would, if I had to pick a hamlet to live in and I couldn't pick Woodstock, which would be prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
Phoenicia would be high on the list. Tannersville would be interesting, but it is over on one side. But then you're pretty accessible to the thruway when you're up in Tannersville. But yeah, I would give high marks to Phoenicia, Pine Hill. If I was still skiing all the time, yeah, I'd pick Pine Hill.
A Big Indian, that would be a nice spot. Just the middle of the.
Where do you go out to eat in Big Indian?
That's very true, actually.
Yeah.
See, I mean, that's
it's like I'm talking about a hamlet area, because one of the interesting places would be is one of these like old, like, okay, a Winnisook Lake. Would you live there? I'd live up there. If
It's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, but I mean, you want to live in a not remote, but just kind of an exotic place in the Catskills, Winnisook Lake. You could go hike up slide anytime you want, little slide anytime you want, all that stuff. You could go over to Giant Ledge right from your house. I'm going to hike down to Giant Ledge, watch the sunset, and come home.
Wow.
Without even getting in my car. So, but you can't leave your house and go to the bar and get a bill. Well, I guess you could go down the road, right down to, one of those places along Route 47 there.
Well, there's Full Moon, and then there's that Ralph's place. I don't know what it's called now. I forgot.
Yeah,
Urban Cowboy or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of a long hike from your house to get. I'm talking about I want to go down the street, have a couple beers, something to eat, and walk home without having to use my car. That would be a hamlet area. But if you want someplace that's not in a hamlet area, that would be pretty cool to live in the Catskills, I would put Winnisook Lake very high on the list.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we go off topic so much.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. Back to the show.
Back to what was a big hot topic last week. So when did we record? Hold on. We recorded on the 20th. So this happened on the 16th. How did I don't think I,
yeah.
Why didn't we didn't cover this up, but once again,
I don't know. I mean, I generally search before showtime for any recent news in the Cats, and this didn't come up.
Yeah, so January 16th at 1:30 p.m. while on routine patrol along the Phoenicia East Branch Trail, Forest Ranger Jeffrey encountered a 33-year-old hiker from Hopewell Junction, New York, beginning the hike of Table Mountain, which is, the Phoenicia East Branch. I'm pretty sure that's the Denning area, right? Or So Ranger Jeffrey expressed his concern over a late start, but the hiker was confident in their ability, claiming that they had the proper gear, and proceeded. 13 hours later, at 2:27 a.m., the hiker sent an SOS from a satellite device with coordinates on Fisherman's Path, which parallels, of course, the East Branch of the Neversink River. Common area, we call it, once again, the Fisherman's Path. Exit route for Lone and Rocky, and then if people want to do Friday, they come down through that area as well. Definitely, I wouldn't say a popular spot, but the more known spot of people doing the bushwhack peaks. Icy road conditions delayed the ranger response time. 4 hours after the SOS, at 6:30 a.m., Rangers Franceschina and Jeffrey located the hiker who was visibly suffering from rapidly progressing hypothermia after falling into the river and coming fully submerged. So, once again, the Neversink starts up there, but it's people think it's not that deep. It can be that deep. Rangers quickly changed the hikers into dry clothes, used a heated blanket, and provided hot liquids. And after talking to the hiker, they learned that the hiker changed plans. It included Lone, Pikamoose, and Rocky in addition to Table. So Rangers assisted the hiker to the trailhead, advised him to seek further medical attention for swelling, blisters, and discoloration that occurred. Resources were clear at 8:30 a.m. So this was a big thing on social media, of course, that we heard, not just Facebook and Instagram, but once again, this is, I would call this, as we call this in New Hampshire and stuff like that, a form of negligence. Of basically, this person thought they knew the area, they did that, and they summited Table and Pikamoose, which would have been fine at the time. Once again, at 1:30 p.m., you have, I would say, 3 hours till daylight, till that sun hits Slide Mountain and over in that area, and it's blocking the sun. So you're getting darkness. And then after that, you're kind of on your own with a headlamp, and we're talking about cold weather, so your headlamp doesn't last that long if it's rechargeable, even with batteries. So you have a limited amount of time, and the hiker decided to go up Pikamoose, back over the Table, and then bushwhack over to Lone and Rocky, who we all know is not the easiest, but not the most difficult, I would say. But once again, my little terms into this is that the hiker should have just reversed its course, followed the trail, followed the footsteps that they just did. Probably there was a trench built to table, and they could have made it safely down without any water crossings whatsoever, except when you go over bridges, and they could have been fine. But of course, a lot of people get into this situation on Lone and Rocky, and they're like, hey, this is a good exit path. Let's go down the Donovan Brook Ridge, I would say, or the Rocky Ridge, and go to the Fisherman's Path and then head on the flat. Once again, they don't want to cover back over the Lone. They don't want to cover back over the table. They want to head on the flat area of Fisherman's Path, which I find a miserable goddamn area. It's beautiful, but it's miserable in hiking. You got to cross the stream multiple times. You know, this is in the summer that I found it riverable. I'd never hiked in the winter, which I will probably never hike it in the winter just because of these kind of situations. You got to cross back ice bridges, falling in, you know. How many miles? Once again, it's like 4 miles, I would say, from the ridge of Rocky that you come down to the Denning Trailhead, right? Like that's a significant amount of 2 miles of bushwhacking, bushwhacking, right?
It's 5 miles.
Oh, 5. Sorry.
From where the toe of Rocky intersects with the East Branch, it's 5.1 miles from there back to the parking area.
So it's like 3 miles to the trail.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really, really long. And in the winter, it generally should be avoided unless you have a sense of what you're getting yourself into, because I've done that hike in the winter. And got back to the parking lot after 9 p.m.
I remember you told that story. That was intense.
Yeah. So and I generally tell people when I bump into them up there that if that's where they're, and I always check with them, you know, how you planning to get out. When they tell me, oh, we're going to go down Rocky and hit the Fisherman's Path, I tell them, well, the Fisherman's Path is not a path. It's like this not unmarked, braided trailless system. And if there's any fresh snow and it's not tracked up, which it rarely is, you're going to spend a long time going down there. And invariably you hear stories about people putting a foot in the water or more. This fellow, you know, apparently got totally submerged. So, but what I want to know is, why is it 2:27 a.m. the SOS call goes in? Wasn't this person in trouble before 2:27 a.m.?
It seems like it. It seems like
it seems definite. That's like he's like 13 hours after he bumps into the ranger, they bump into the ranger. The SOS, why is that? Did they try to do an SOS before then?
I mean, I got to admit that area is pretty open for satellite. I mean, it's not, unless you're on Rocky, it's pretty, like, it has open trees, especially in the winter. It's got open trees coming down off of that summit.
Yeah, but so here it is, 2:20, and apparently and they don't tell us this, but at 2:27, they were able to find this person, and when they found the person, from the time they got there, changed the person's clothes, got them, you know, ready to go and whatnot, they had a 2-hour walk, right? They get there, they dry them off, change the clothes, yada, and then it's 2 hours back to the parking lot. So that puts the person, in my view, somewhere beyond Lone, between Lone and Rocky. That's about 2 hours. It's about an hour and a half back in good conditions. Let's give them a half an hour to change the clothes, warm the person up, yada, yada, yada. So they're just upstream of Rocky, which puts us at those cliffs, right?
Yep.
And so maybe I'm supposing that the person fell in somewhere crossing just upstream of Lone. But this is at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Where
exactly.
was the person at midnight? Were they coming down Rocky? Why is it when they're at Rocky and it's got to be what, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
Why are they thinking coming down? Because we all know what it's like. If you're up there at Rocky and it's drifted, okay, because you would have, well, no, there was not, we didn't have much snow up there then.
Yeah,
The
not
last
as much, but still.
Yeah, but you're off trail basically. It might not be trenched out, but my view is most of the people that are going over Rocky this time of year are doing the 9 or they're doing the 6.
Mhm.
Not very many of them are going from the Rocky down to the Fisherman's Path, the East Branch. So your likelihood of running into tracks going down to the East Branch is pretty low. And when you see that, when you're going downhill and you don't see a lot of tracks, why do you continue going down?
Exactly.
I think it's because you really don't know what it's going to be like down there, and it's not going to be as easy as it seems. But why is it this person thinks everything's going on? Do they have snowshoes? The ranger says properly equipped. If the ranger didn't see snowshoes, I think their assessment would have been different. But maybe not, because the guy told him, I'm going to table.
Yeah,
I just see there's a lot of unanswered questions here.
And I say this, and it's tough in this situation not to judge, because once again, they said table, and then they included Pikamoose, and then included Lone and Rocky, which is not like you might, once again, that hike from Lone to Rocky is what, like 0.63 miles? Like, you don't think it's much, but it's a bitch. Like it wears you down, especially after you just done Lone or Table and Pikamoose and Lone. Like, and then you're like, fuck, I gotta get back. But then a lot of people with not a lot of experience say their escape route, once again, is to go down and then kind of have like a flat experience when you can just retrace your steps and fly just as fast. It's tough. It's tough not to judge on this part, because this person was negligent. And I hate to say it, it's horrible to say that they should be charged for this, because this could have, I mean, the Rangers are smart enough. Jeffrey is awesome. Francisquina is awesome. They wouldn't have got themselves in a sticky situation. They know that this, but again, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So one of my questions is, of many, did this person fall into the water just one time or more than one time?
That's what it couldn't have been just once.
Because when they say that the person was properly equipped, I would think I'm going to put an asterisk on that now that I think about it. But I'm surprised that the person, if they went into the water and they were properly equipped for backcountry hiking, they didn't have a change of clothes already, unless they already went in the water once, changed into their clothes. And that would kind of explain why it's taking so long. Maybe they were, because once you stop to dry off, change your clothes, that can take a half an hour, 45 minutes to do that. There's still a lot of time that needs to be explained, but it would, to me, it indicates maybe the person went in more than once, and then when the Rangers got to the person, the person had already gone through their dry clothes and going in the water before. But then if the person set out only to hike Table, maybe they were thinking, I don't need to change of clothes. Why do I need to change of clothes? I'm only going out to Table. It's a trail hike. There's no water crossings.
True.
Only somebody like Stosh and Tad would bring a change in clothes, but they're not adventuresome, right? They should just stay at home, watch podcasts. Okay.
Correct.
I don't, it's just the timeline, why the person's out there so long, I find very interesting, especially when, like, if it had been Saturday to Saturday night when all that fresh snow was coming in and it's blowing and drifting. I mean, there was more drifting going on Saturday into Sunday, really, than there was fresh snowfall. I mean, the fresh snowfall was maybe 6 inches, but the drifting, could be several feet going through there. I mean, I've done that with drifts. It particularly between Lone and Table, through that col, you get some significant drifting. Okay. I just wonder. So you know what I'm going to do, Stosh? I'm going to do a foil to the DEC and see what I can find.
Let's see how far you get with that one.
Oh, I think they'll have to give me this stuff.
What
they
about
gave
the
me all
foil?
That stuff about the cats, the mountain lion reports. So.
I'm going to do a foil on the Catskill Clove VUM. How about that? Fuck yeah. That was supposed to be completed 2 years ago. Jeez. But yeah, you once again, you say like once again, 12 hours. Like, why? Where was this person located when they hit the SOS, number one? And when this person, like, hit, like, Rocky? So, once again, there had to be people, there had to be a trail up there. There had to be a trench at least. And when people in the winter, that's the greatest time to do Lone and Rocky because you can follow the trench. There's no crazy bushwhacking somewhat where people drifted.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there wasn't what I remember hiking on Saturday, the Burroughs Range Traverse, and we didn't really run into any significant snow on trail until we were well over 3,000 feet. And everything, but everything underneath the freshly fallen snow up until that point was just really just rocks. I mean, most of the snow had melted. So, and if this is what that person was encountering, in and around the 3,000 foot and less range, you would think that there would be able to have made good time going through there. Why did it take them, so long to get to where they did punch in? Again, we're assuming it was at the Toa Slope on Lone. Why did it take them 13 hours to get there?
And you would think that, like, once again, you would turn around and be like, man, I'm not going to complete this, like, by myself, solo. Nonetheless, like, my time of doing Lone and Rocky solo is, like, in October, September, when it's perfect conditions. I do not want to be caught in these kind of conditions like this, and have to call for rescue. That's embarrassing for me.
So that goes to making somebody pay, maybe aside from the embarrassment of calling in for a rescue, which shouldn't prevent you from calling in for a rescue, but maybe they're also thinking, geez, I can't afford to pay for a rescue. I'm going to have to rough it. Maybe this person was from New Hampshire and they thought if they punched the SOS, they would have to pay the state of New York for a rescue.
True. And once again, we're back and forth. I'm like judging and stuff like that. So
well, we're questioning. We're not judging.
Yeah, it's question. We got questions.
We don't have the information. If we had the information, then it would, if this guy had been up there X number of times before, then it's easier to say, oh, well, they should have known better. One of the things I look at is, it's so easy now to pull information off the internet, or even All Trails and Gaia show a trail going through there. And that's really deceptive, for somebody to think that the fisherman's path is like a trail, because it doesn't say, at least on my Gaia, it doesn't say it's unmarked.
It's not a trail. I didn't find there's probably half a mile to 3/4 of a mile in a probably good amount of trail, but after that, it's nothing. It's just good luck.
When you're retracing this person's footsteps, you're coming down Rocky, and you reach the east branch of the Neversink. Unless you know that it's A, unmarked, and B, it's really tucked up. It's not even in the bed of the river or near it when you get down to the toe of the slope. You kind of have to backtrack a little bit to get on that trail. And you might not see it. You might just start wandering down the river looking for the trail, and you're never going to find it because it's not marked.
Yeah, exactly. And they have little like dots and dots showing that where it is, but it is seriously, it's
fiction.
There's so much, like, even I've seen campsites on the other side when there's like a trail on one side. I'm just like, how the fuck did they get over there? Like, it's just,
I've been up and or down the East Branch over 20 times.
Yeah. So, I mean, coming from a person that's been probably like 3 or 4 times, I hate it, but coming from Tad that's been like 20 times, that he's just like, you know what, it's not that, you don't want to take a risk on that. That's a big thing. So once again, the listeners, don't take a risk on the fisherman's path, because it is, once it's Tad said, it's not a path. It's fucking like all for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and really, to our listeners, don't do it, because we have so few listeners. We can't afford to lose any one of you if you get lost on the fisherman's path and die.
Right. I don't want to be like told inside the line told me to take this path.
Yeah.
Like,
we're just telling you to stay home instead of hiking. Listen to old reruns of prior episodes.
Yeah. So
be safe.
You got any questions for me? I see Tad. You put on the agenda. You got some questions.
What's this heat blanket?
So I have a feeling, there's a couple things. My store, the Walmart store, was going out of. We had these kind of like heated, like sweaters, and it required a 20-volt battery, which would last for like 13 hours in the extreme cold, which is pretty cool. And we donated to them. We donated 8 of them to the Forest Rangers, which was freaking cool because usually we couldn't do this within Walmart, and they did. So that was pretty cool. But the heated blanket, I would say, required kind of like a similar thing with a 20-volt battery, which wouldn't last as long. I mean, 20-volt battery isn't that heavy now. The 40-volt is pretty heavy. So if you can have a 20-volt battery, you can carry 2 of them, and that can last 8 hours. I'm guessing that what they did. Heated blanket can't be like a little bit heavier, but I would say in this situation, it's definitely worth it. You know, once again, you got to get the person warm with hypothermia. It's a process, and it's crazy when it says fully submerged, and that sucks. That really sucks with water. I panic when my foot gets submerged in water because I'm less like, that's not cool. Like,
So one of the things I thought when I read through this, we always talk about having a bag with a dry bag with a change of clothes in it.
Yep.
Do you carry a towel?
Ooh, good. No, I do not, Tad.
You got to have a quick drying towel in your pack.
Good point. All right. So I guess my pack's going to weigh 45 pounds instead of 40 now.
So something good comes out of this. Because I've never noted this before. I'm always careful to mention that, what's the point of having a set of dry clothes when they're not in a waterproof bag or container, but you also need to have in there a towel to dry yourself off with. Of course, a change of socks. I started carrying this year for the first time a pair of those little down booties. So if your boots get really, really wet, you can't put them on. You just got to sit on your butt. At least you can put these booties on.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And you have a whole set, of course, in like a bag, that socks, shirt, like long sleeve shirt, long sleeve, like kind of long johns as well. Like,
I have like a change of underwear, and then I have the puffy pants to put on, fully zip on puffy pants, hard shell to put on over them, and then for upper layer, I have like a base layer, and then a puffy layer jacket and hard shell. And my experience is, as long as I'm dry, that's going to be enough to keep me warm. The only thing I don't carry, which I know Danny Davis does carry, a sit pad. I don't carry a sit pad. My attitude is, if I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I've changed my clothes and I'm not hiking out, I'm sitting on my backpack. That's my sit pad.
Yeah, correct. I don't carry a sit pad as well, but I do carry extra socks, extra long johns, just in case once again you get fully submerged. You got to get like dry quick. Oh, you got to get heated fast. Long sleeve t-shirt, an actual t-shirt, and all that other stuff. Once again, like you said, like the puffy pants, I don't have that. So that's a little, that's extreme. Once again, winter weather preparations, that the worst of the worst. Like, you never fucking know. That's what sucks.
That's true, man. So the other, and when Stosh says t-shirt, he's not talking about a cotton t-shirt. All this stuff is right.
True. So, yeah, crazy incident. Hopefully, people learn from this, and it's one of those incidences that happens here very rarely, and then up in you look in the Whites and the Adirondacks, happens quite often. So you gotta only learn from this, and I know a lot of people like to minimalize what they bring along, but winter is no time to fuck around and find out, because it could cost you your life. And the Rangers are out there. Once again, they didn't get to him till 4 hours later. So once again, there's probably he could have, once they said blisters, you're talking about like what else can happen?
You die. You just die. You have hypothermia. You're gonna. There's no limb loss or finger or toe loss here, but this person, thankfully they had a SOS device, because they were able to send the signal. The Rangers got there, and they didn't die of hypothermia. We don't hear with this story that somebody called in at like 6 o'clock and said, "Where's Pat?" Because Pat didn't call in saying they were done hiking table that day. It wasn't until 2 o'clock in the morning that this person hit the button for SOS. It's interesting that nobody was calling in for that person beforehand. So obviously having an SOS was very helpful, probably saved their life. We just questioned why the button wasn't pressed earlier in the day. And then, whether or not they had the right change of clothes and other gear provisions. I mean, we can question that because it seems like at this point in time, they didn't have anything else to use, but maybe they had used it earlier. Another interesting thing to inquire about or want to know is whether or not this person had the ability to start a fire where they were. Maybe they physically couldn't get to a place to start a fire. It seems like once the Rangers got there, the person was able to walk out on their own. But usually once a year, I try to start a fire, on one of my hikes in a safe spot, just so I have that practice of if I need to, when I don't expect to, be able to start a fire, because that's a good thing. Fire, right. Good.
Fire's good. Warmth.
Yeah.
So hopefully people learn from this incident that happened, and hopefully the podcast reach out and stuff. So nice chat. Thank you to the monthly supporters: Bob McLean, Chris Gerbian, Eric Rosario, Jeff Jotz, Vicky Farrow, Mikey S., John Comiskey, Summit Seekers, Desert City Radio, Betsy A., Denise W., Vanessa, and Jim C. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Once again, your support of the show just does not go to us, goes to back in the Catskills as we donate periodically and stuff. So big shout out to the sponsor of the show, Outdoor Chronicles Photography. So capture your story against breathtaking backdrops with Outdoor Chronicles Photography. Molly specializes in adventure coupled photography, and she'll immortalize your moments amidst the stunning landscapes of the Catskill, Adirondacks, and White Mountains. She'll craft timeless images that reflect unique bond in nature's grandeur. Embark on an unforgettable photographic journey with Outdoor Chronicles Photography. Don't hesitate to get a hold on Molly on all platforms. Also, discover the Wilderness with Trailbound Project. Our expert-led hiking and backpacking education programs offer unparalleled outdoor experiences. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned adventurer, join us to learn essential skills, explore stunning trails, and connect with nature. Start your journey today with Trailbound Project and unlock the wonders of the great outdoors. So, are you really outdoors? Mention the podcast in one of your hikes through social media, and we'll chat about it on the show. Tag us by typing at ITL Catskill MTM Podcast on your post. So, Tad, Tracy Pink Pony 818 went up. How do you say that?
Fanenstock.
Fanenstock. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Before Snow Apocalypse. So once again, my pronunciation is tough. So awesome. So Tracy, good to see you getting about. Kelsey G did the Huckleberry Luke on Dry Brook Ridge with snowshoes. Fantastic. Once again, to hear from you, Kelsey. You are ripping it up. And Tad, you have a note about this as well?
Yeah, I saw on Instagram that the Catskill 3500 Club was advertising a hike in February up Balsam Lake Mountain, and it turns out that Kelsey is the hiking guide for that. So she's going to be guiding hikes for the Catskill 3500 Club, and she looks like she's a fun and knowledgeable person to go out hiking with. So if you want to hook up with the club and go hiking, or if you know somebody who wants to get into Catskill hiking, check out Kelsey G and go hiking with her in the club. Happy
Definitely.
hiking.
Yeah, happy hiking. Thank you, Kelsey, for definitely tagging us. Shayna, a.k.a. Shay 315X, was listening to one of our episodes. She literally wasn't up anywhere, so you met her in the parking lot on Slide, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I think I mentioned last episode that her and a few others were nice enough to take a photo with me so I could be in the limelight for 2 seconds. It was very cool. So thanks for being nice to me.
Was your face like screw this, or did you throw up a peace sign like you did in the 70s at Woodstock?
No, I was trying to give my Hollywood look, frankly, and trying to pretend I knew what I was doing. I had a hard time figuring out, like which foot goes into which boot and how to get my gloves on. Yeah.
I'm trying to get warm here. You guys are keeping me freaking cold. Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is. Like Todd, aka Bold Outdoors, was in PA with the Toms doing some stuff in the PA. So it was pretty cool. I think it was Tom Who's and stuff. Hiker Joe NY went up Wittenberg for number 25 of the Winters. Scott, Catskill Mountains Brew did Hunter with Southwest Hunter for 17 and 18 off the winter list. And also off in the woods, Sean was with Scott tagging Hunter and Southwest Hunter for 13 and 14 on the winters. Apparently, I remember Sean and I doing Hunter and Southwest Hunter as well. I guess that wasn't in the winter time. So Mike at Red Hand Adventure Guides was skiing at Plattekill, which was definitely the place to be skiing at this previous weekend. A lot of people were there and all over the place, Bel Air and stuff. And Steve, aka Environmental Totality, did the Burroughs Range last week. Sorry, Steve, I missed you on your tag. So once again, sorry if I missed you on your tag. Let me know, please. Call me out and say, "You stupid SOB, you missed me." So I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone who tagged us and was out and about. Let's see who is out and about this weekend with Breaking Trail. So also, buy us a hard cider to support the show. If you think we're doing a good job and you want to show us some support, buy us a coffee, hard cider on buymeacoffee.com. Link is in the show notes. Rate the show when you can. We haven't gotten a rating in a while, so I appreciate a 5-star rating every once in a while. So, Tad, what are you having to drink, buddy?
Oh, so I decided to use one of the leftover beers that I had got from my daughter when she was home for the holidays, because she drinks, at least by my standards, some pretty eclectic stuff. So she likes wheat beer. Have you ever had a wheat beer?
Never.
Never? Yeah. It's some of it actually, man, it's almost like drinking a slice of wheat bread.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's very weedy. So at any rate, I got from the Ithaca Beer Company in, surprise, surprise, Ithaca, New York, the apricot wheat ale for her. And she went through the first sixer. So I bought her a second one, and she pulled down 4 of those, left 2 behind. So tonight I had one of them. This is the apricot wheat ale. I don't see offhand what the alcohol content is, but it's an interesting flavor. It's pretty unique. I can't say that I would drink more than one of these at a time. It's just not my thing, but it was sitting around, thought I would have it. Comes in a bottle. You heard me open it. Different sound. So
it sounded fantastic.
Yeah, Stosh, what do you have?
Hudson North Big Blackberry. Once again, this came from Todd, aka Bold Outdoors. He gave me a bunch of hard cider, a Hudson North hard cider, today when we hiked. So it was
So what everybody should hear when they hear this from Stosh is, if you want to get like a double mention on the show, just buy Stosh some hard ciders, and he'll mention you. You'll be like his pal for life.
I agree. Yeah. But Tad, you were out before me this week.
Okay.
What were you up to?
Yeah, so I had plans of doing other things, but one thing led to another, and I decided just to stick to my January grid list. I only have a few open boxes. And I went all the way out west to Balsam Lake Mountain. Turns out it was my 20th visit to the mountain on Saturday for a solo hike up Balsam Lake Mountain from the Beaver Kill side.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. And I never really took notice of this, and I don't know why, but it's so much shorter to go up from the Beaver Kill side. At least the hiking part. Now, the drive, you can say, whoa, that's like out of the way, depending on where you live. But the hike up from the Beaverkill side is relatively short. Feels more like a hike than when you hike up from the Sager side. And
You actually got up to the parking area all the way up to the top?
the parking area?
Like up the Beaverkill side. You're talking about like past Willowweemak and stuff like that, right?
Hello, who drives a Jeep here?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm just once again like
yeah, I'll post a video as proof of the Jeep making it out there. But that is one of my points. I get out. The road surface conditions actually better in the winter with all the snow packing down that road because it fills in all of the, I don't know if you can call them potholes, but the holes and the ruts. It smooths it out. You just have to be careful because there was ice underneath the snow. But you get out there at the end at the parking lot. The parking lot was really, really well plowed. And as I pull into the parking lot, there's one other vehicle there. It was like a 4-door, larger size SUV. And I get out of my vehicle and I'm telling you, was it cold? It was fucking cold. Okay. Because the ambient temperature was at or around 0. And then the wind was just like this constant, 20, 25 miles an hour through that field that's just off the parking area. And I noted that this fellow parked with the front end of their car pointed towards the field, which is really just going to chill down your battery. I backed up to, protect my battery. But the one thing that I was unprepared for was what, Stosh? Don't look boring. What was I unprepared for? When I get there, I park my car, I get out of my car. It's fucking cold. And I'm dilly-dallying around because I didn't really I knew it was going to be cold that day, but I didn't think about the fact that I'm going to be like at this parking lot, like, fastening my snowshoes onto my pack, changing like my jacket that I drove over with the jacket, the fleece and the hard shell that I was going to wear going up. So in the 10 or 15 minutes it took me to do all this stuff while I'm standing at the side of my Jeep, I'm getting pretty fucking cold. Okay?
Yeah, when you're setting up, yeah.
Yeah. So my message is, try to think about that ahead of time. I don't think you would run into this problem like at the Slide Mountain parking area, although it's a higher elevation. It's really well protected from the wind. But here, you're really exposed to the wind. And I was really getting a chill. So I said to myself, geez, I need to change over my gear a little bit sooner, which I did. So I set out on the hike just using hill sounds. The people ahead of me have really early changed over to snowshoes. And then when I ran into them on their way down, they told me they did that because they're practicing using their snowshoes to go up hiking in the Adirondacks. Other than them going up from that side and down ahead of me, I got up to the mountain. There was no one else had been up there that day other than those two people. So the skies were just like that crystal blue skies. Yeah. I mean, there was no clouds in the skies. It was just an epic day up there. It was really, really windy, bitter cold, snapped off a few photos, hung out and drank my hot coffee for a while. And I noticed that nobody had hiked in on the Jeep trail. So I decided I'm going to go down the Jeep trail just to change things up, which I did. And in some spots, you could see that the snow had drifted over the trench, but you could just barely see the outline of the trench. And in other spots, there was just no evidence of there having been a trench there. It was just totally filled in with blown snow, kind of packed in. It was actually fun hiking down it because you're breaking trail going downhill, which is always fun.
Yeah.
And, it was a good hike down. But after like that second significant like uphill gain, I'm coming down it. I go down the first one that's right after the tunnel, and then you go down the second one. And as I'm going, actually after that second one, I get to the third uphill, steep uphill on my way down. And there's this guy there trying to catch his breath, right? Full beard, thick full beard, all iced up. He's got a Carhartt baseball cap on. His ears were like bright red. He's got his mittens off. He's trying to take a photo. And the most unusual thing I noticed was what?
I mean, have a Carhartt on?
No backpack.
Oh, Jesus.
No poles.
Oh,
No
wow.
backpack. No traction device. Right? Here's this
Full
guy.
on just shoes or boots and stuff?
Yeah, he just had boots. Just boots. Like, I don't know what type of pants. I didn't check it out all that closely. Kind of had like a burly, I'm not going to say hiking jacket on, but like a burly winter jacket on.
Hunter jacket?
Yeah, I'll go with that. Right.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a technical jacket. He had, his gloves were off, his hands off to the sides. His hands are red. His face is red. His beard is, like I said, when I say thick, oh, it's really thick, but it's all just like iced up with like, ice balls on it. And his ears are red. And I try to talk to the guy, and it's like, I'm going to say a foreigner, maybe an immigrant or something. I don't know, but it's like I'm trying to connect with him, and all he wants to know is how much further to the top. And I'm like, well, you go up this rise, and then you got 1.5 after it. You're almost there, and it's almost like the ranger running into this guy doing table and Pika Moose. I hope he made it in, but I was just surprised to see somebody that had made it that far, because like I said, the trail was all blown in. He's bare booting it in spots. He's up to his knees, but whatever. I assume he made it. I didn't see any reports from him or by the DEC. So I get down to the junction. I bang a right. I did pick up some trail artifacts, trail trash along the way. I thought it was interesting to see stuff out. I don't know if this guy threw it out or what, but I picked up some stuff on my way down and made it down to my car, got in my Jeep and drove out of there. So
In one piece.
yeah, my 20th visit to Balsam Lake Mountain.
Nice.
Was epic for a winter hiking day. It was everything you want to make a winter hike to Balsam Lake Mountain to be. And if you've never ever hiked up to Balsam Lake Mountain from the Beaver Kill, you ought to do it at least once.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the best time to do it is in the fall during peak foliage season, not for the hike up, but for the ride out along the Beaver Kill.
Oh, yeah.
It's
100%.
one of the most scenic drives, if not the most scenic drive in the Catskills.
100%. I agree. Definitely agree. Glad you had a good time. So that sounds
It was
good.
fun. So what did you do? Little snowshoeing?
Today, Tad, you're going to love this. I messed up. So Todd Bold Outdoors contacts me and it's like, hey, I'm going to have Tuesday off. Let's hike. So I'm like, okay. With the storm coming on, I'm just like, what can we hike? Like this, we'll have to monitor the situations and like the observations and see what we can do. So I'm just like, I see all the observations, like, fuck, like there's no place that got under 18 inches in the Catskills. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, so let's hike Twin Lake East. Isn't that bad? It's not too bad. It's not as crazy as all the other Devil's Path. You get Plateau and then Twin West, which is insane. Indian Head from the west isn't too bad. So I was like, on Twin East, it's a nice gradual gain up to the call, and then it's a little bit gain up to the...
I'm just going to call timeout. Indian Head from the west is probably the easiest of those four.
True.
Okay. Go ahead.
From the west, so we're talking about Pecoy Notch?
Mm-hmm.
True. So, all right. Yeah. So I was just like, let's go up Twin East, get a good view of the Catskills and stuff like that without like crazy significant gain, 1,600 feet of gain within like 2-something miles. So not bad. We meet at the parking lot. The drive there was kind of shitty because we had in Oneonta, we had a little bit to Stamford, had a little bit of snow. So I was following behind plows, 30 miles an hour. And then I get to Lexington, and Lexington all the way to Tannersville was following behind a 20 mile per hour plow. So what was an hour and a half took 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I'm not mad about it because once again, it was a nice little drive. I was falling asleep though, but meet Todd at the parking area of Pleasure Road, and they plowed it, but didn't plow like the parking area. So they plowed the loop around there. So we had a little area to put our cars to where they can go around.
Why do you think that would happen? Somebody they would plow the loop, but not the parking spots?
That's what I was wondering.
Interesting.
I was like, why is there the loop and not kind of like back and forth, big in the parking area? But we had a little spot to park to where they could inch around. I know that the Rangers have their like 250s, their Ford 250s with plows on it. So it's not like the big plows go through there. So we start on the hike and we already see that the amount of snow that we have to get up and over onto the trail is pretty huge. And we're just like, all right, I sign in and I'm like bending down to sign in. Like there's already significant out. We start in at that area. There's probably 18 inches of snow. Breaking trail. And as you know, this is tough shit. With doing it solo is I think right at about 43 years old, it's tough. Like Todd and I were switching back and forth. We get to the junction and Todd's just like going right. And I'm like, oh no, we go left. And this is when I made the mistake, and I will admit to my fuck up. And it was just like, oh yeah, no, we go left. This is where we go. And I messed up, and we were supposed to go right, but it was kind of like a bad call, but good decision, because once we go right, we go up to Pico or Notch, we would have had significant, like not significant gain, but gain to where the drifts would have been crazy, and we would have just been punching in like crazy. So we went along the nice, smooth Devil's Path part that went up to the junction of Plattekill and what's the lean-to over there? We talked about that.
Yeah, I don't know if they call it the Plattekill lean-to or not the Platte Cove lean-to.
Yeah,
it's the lean-to we talked about last episode or the one before that.
Yeah, so we went over that way. It was like it's it's probably around 1.8 miles, and it took us 2 hours to do that.
When do you realize the mistake?
Probably like a half a mile in.
Okay.
I was just like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I tell Todd, and I'm just like, you know what? This is actually not that bad because this is nice little gradual gain. And then
now I would disagree with that. I don't know what the surface conditions were like, but I would be thinking to myself, I'm hiking all that distance without getting any vertical in the bank, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard going out that way because you're breaking trail, but you're not picking up any vertical gain as you do it. So It's almost like wasted distance. But all right, so you're on your way out. Is he shaming you because you made this mistake and you're like, Joe podcast?
No, we're just like,
okay, he's cool about it. He still gave you the hard cider, so obviously he's
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we're like, breaking through this. We're doing intervals of back and forth, and it's tough. Like at times 18 inches, and at times we could see we were breaking through at least 3 feet. Like
so the telltale of how tough it was is whether or not during this you were delayering or not.
No, I didn't. Okay. Actually, I had my merino wool shirt, and then I had just a regular moisture wicking t-shirt, and then my Helly Hansen. And at the beginning, like maybe like a half mile in, we were thinking about delayering, and we both were talking to each other, and we're just like, maybe we should delayer. I took my gloves off, but within that, I kept my stuff on, but then like a little bit later on, it got colder for some reason. Like we were reaching over onto the other side of Indiana Mountain, and it got colder. And it wasn't.
Are you getting not the wind? It wasn't.
No wind. It just got colder. And we both kept our shells on and our little other layers on, but I had my gloves off, and I was like, my hands were totally fine. And then later on, I eventually put my gloves on. And it was actually okay. We hit the Platte Clove Trail, the going up to Plattekill into Echo Lake. I would say the Echo Lake Trail, and then we hit the junction, and we're just like, let's see how far we can go up. My goal was either, now that I messed up with my decision, I was just like, let's go to Sherman's Outlook. the overlook that looks over Overlook Mountain and Plattekill. I'm like, that seems pretty similar to what we were going to do today, to go up to Twin East. And we got not even a quarter of a mile in, and stuff started to get deeper and deeper going in. And I was just like, you know what? Like, my quads are killing me. Like, his quads were killing him. We had a discussion. We're like, all right, we're going to call it right here. And we eventually said okay, let's turn around. And we turned around. Like, I didn't even send you. I should have sent you where we were located, but I would even say it was quarter mile into the Devil's Path. Going up the junction where we called it, and then we went back and we reverse coursed, and it was. To be honest, I seriously don't know how people can do this. Like, with 4 or 5 people, that's awesome. That would be fun as heck. But with 2 people, let alone one person, like, that's some hardcore workout and tolerance, I would say. Because I was suffering even with him and talking with him and having him doing maybe every 50 yards we were changing. It was tough.
Was the snow wet at all? Had it started consolidating and getting heavy, or was it light but dense?
At certain intervals, there was a little crust on the top. You could hear our snowshoes doing a little crust on the top, but it was just punching and going down, up and going down. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of a good term to say what people have never done breaking trail in that much. Yeah. What would you say it was like walking through a knee deep of water?
Well, it can be like walking through wet cement with scuba flippers on backwards.
Yes. Oh my God, that's perfect. Yeah. I was trying this whole time. I'm trying to think about what to say. How do I describe what the fuck we're doing?
Yeah.
That is the way it was. Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Tad.
And so the interesting thing is, when you think about it, how is it that you actually do a workout that trains and conditions the muscles that you use to pull up your snowshoe in conditions like that? Because
right?
We can all hit the treadmill, the elliptical,
Stairmaster,
the walking, the Stairmaster, and do that pushing down action. But when you're snowshoeing in deep snow, particularly when you start going uphill and the entry point of your snowshoe going into the snow is not where you're going to pull your snowshoe out of the snow, because you're moving forward. And so you're going to be pulling your snowshoe more uphill as you're pulling it out. And so you're going to be lifting snow up as you pull out your snowshoe. And I'm going to tell you what type of activity, but what do you do to train those muscles? Your lower abdomen, your hip flexors, your quads, particularly your upper quads. What workout activates those muscles? Something you could do at home or in the gym.
Please tell me, because I was the whole going. We started going up, of course, Indian Head, and you've broken trail, but you do not take full steps. You take half a steps, quarter of a steps to kind of gain your thing, and you're totally at a loss for words, and you're like, fuck, I don't know how people can do this. I don't know how you can do that. What do you do at home?
So my view is the best training for this is bicycling. Because if you are on a bicycle where you can lock your foot into the pedal, which is, your typical road bike or mountain bike setup has a clip in pedaling system, or even a Peloton with a strap over your foot. When you pull up on that pedal, that's kind of like the same motion and activity as snowshoeing in the snow. So I just throw that out there because from all the cycling I do, I'm familiar with that. The other thing I point out, and I see this all the time with people, is if you have your foot too far back on your snowshoe, when you lift up your foot, the snow doesn't fall off the back of your snowshoe as well as it does as if you get your foot further forward. And so you're picking up that weight of the snow when you don't have to. So it's important to get your foot forward on the snowshoe to move that pivot point back, and to get the snowshoe to drop early when you're lifting it up and get the snow to fall off the back of the snowshoe, right?
Correct.
And that's also important when you're going uphill, because if you get the ball of your foot over that pivot on the snowshoe, when you're trying to get traction going uphill, you're putting more weight into the claws of the snowshoe itself to get yourself going uphill. So did you, when you were going uphill, were you getting good uphill traction? Did you have to like double kick in to get your snowshoe to get a good base? Or was the snow firm enough that you didn't have to do like a double kick?
Oh, we had double kicked. Like, yeah, absolutely. It was going up, not even like the crazy amounts, but just going up a little bit with elevation gain is just like was brutal. And it was like half step, baby steps, and just kind of get a grip here and there, trying to find which would be the best spot. I fell down several times, and like Todd took a couple pictures of me, and it was hilarious.
And so is Todd posting those? I'm reaching out to Todd. I'm going to buy those. I'm putting out a ransom for those photos to post.
Please do.
What is it? The Catskill trail conditions are going to put those out there. Did you file a report with Catskill trail conditions?
I did. I actually did. And I heard another person.
What did you say in the report?
That we went not even a quarter. It was, we didn't even go a quarter of the way up Lake Indian Head, like up the elevation. And it was just, it was brutal. You know, I also said, you know, we're 40-year-old dudes. I mean, he's a 50-year-old dude, and just, you know, in good shape. And it was still with 2 people. It was constant hardcore work. 4 people, I think it would actually be pretty fun and pretty nice. You could easily complete it. But 2 people, let alone 1 person, I heard went up slide and bailed halfway. And, you know, I couldn't even imagine, like, once again, I broken trail by myself going up Wyndham to the lean-to in 2 feet of snow, and then up Camel's Hump when I was a lot younger. And I bailed at Camel's Hump trying to go up Thomas Cole. But this today was, once again, like 18 to 24 inches of snow. And then on top of that, drifts were just out of control all over the place.
Yeah. So when it comes to bushwhacking in the conditions we have in the Catskills right now, in the forecasts for the next 7 days are for really, really cold conditions. So you're not going to see that upper layer of snow getting wet enough and refreezing to give you a good base to work off at the top. You're going to keep sinking into it, and you're just not going to get good uphill traction with it. So it's going to be a lot of work to go out there and hike off trail. If you're lucky, unlike Stosh today, you'll be able to get out there when somebody else has been ahead of you and broken trail for you. But it's the game changer in the winter is if you went out last weekend and you hiked, or the weekend before, and hiked in that really, really light and fluffy snow, of which there was maybe 4 to 6 inches, you felt like a hero because snowshoeing was easy in it. And then you get out in 18 inches of snow that started to settle in and get wind blown. It's really hard. But did you guys have fun?
We did. We had a lot of good conversations, and right afterwards we went to Mama's Boy because we bailed. We had some time. We went to Mama's Boy and I had a double cheeseburger, and he had a Philly cheesesteak, I think.
So what side did you get? Did you get the fries, the onion rings? Fries? You were fry. What did you get? Fries as well?
He got fries as well. Or tots, tater tots.
Okay. You ever try the Brussels sprouts there?
No, that's weird.
Really? Oh, I get them. They're really good. You got to ask them. You got to tell them you want the Brussels sprouts extra well done. That's the way to get them. Yeah,
awesome.
They're better. They're better than the entree at Mama's Boy.
Oh, nice. I mean,
there you go.
Yeah. Once again, fantastic time. There's no shame in bailing. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got out, you did some hiking, you guys had fun, you went to Mama Boys afterwards. I mean, what more could you want in a hike?
Right. Exactly.
Not all about the summit, it's about the journey.
Exactly. So, volunteer, New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, 3500 Club, Catskill Trail Crew, Catskill Mountains Club, Visitor Center, Jolly Rovers Trail Crew. Stickers. You need stickers? Let me know. I will send you them for free. No cost whatsoever. So, Tad, weather forecast. What have you heard recently? Everybody's saying there's a storm coming in.
I haven't watched for storms yet. All I see is it's just going to be really cold on Saturday. But ironically, my targets on Saturday are eastern for the Devil's Path. Not all four of them, but either Plateau and Sugarloaf or Indian Head and Twin.
Nice. So
something like that. But hopefully somebody else has been out there and broken some of the trail ahead of me. Hopefully somebody who does a lot of bicycling so they can get up and over that stuff.
I was just going to say that. So somebody break the trail for Tad. So, there's a big talk about a storm, but with the weather forecast so far, it looks to be pushing more of the east out into the ocean. So we'll see. Once again, we'll talk about it in a second. Here is your weekend weather forecast, sponsored by insert name here. For this weekend, prepare for blistering cold conditions and to bring your snowshoes from the recent snowstorm that we just had. On Friday, January 30th, expect partly sunny skies with a high of 7 degrees, a low of 3 degrees, and a wind chill of negative 29 degrees. On Saturday, January 31st, expect sunny skies, a high of 12 degrees, a low of 7, and a wind chill of negative 6. And on Sunday, expect sunny skies again with a high of 16, a low of 10, and a wind chill reaching up to negative 13 degrees. So once again, be prepared, be safe, and don't become tomorrow's rescue story. All right. Last set of sponsors. Sorry. I totally forgot that we do that. I do that later.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. So, Tad, how about our last set of sponsors, our amazing sponsors? Does sound good?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. So discover Camp Catskill in Tannersville, your ultimate hiking store. Find top quality gear, apparel, and accessories for all your outdoor adventures. Our expert staff is to help every hiker from beginners to seasoned pros. We also carry a variety of unique Catskill souvenirs and gifts. Visit us online at campcatskill.co or in the store to gear up for your next journey. Adventure starts at Camp Catskill. Also, you can get free stickers there. So go there. Embark on a transformative journey with Another Summit. Another Summit is dedicated to serving veterans and first responders with free outdoor activities. Activities like walks in nature, paddling, hiking, and even backpacking. Join our supportive community to rejuvenate in nature's embrace. Experience camaraderie, adventures, and healing at no cost. Take your next step with Another Summit and ascend to new heights of resilience and joy. Apply today on anothersummit.org. All right, so let's get on to the guest of the night.
Let's go.
Tonight, Kaitlyn Supa, is that how you say it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Ted, that's like, I don't know, what is that? 3 for 3?
I think you are 3 for 3.
Wow, it's tough. Like out of 200 and something episodes, I've probably gotten 8 correct, maybe 9.
Oh, man.
A little exaggeration there.
12. But Kaitlyn joins us tonight. So she had an incredible experience in the Catskills. So she was out camping one day, and in the morning she woke up. She was camping with her cat, Walter. She woke up and Walter was gone. Crazy thing is, 29 days later, 29, yes, you heard that correct, 29 days later, she found Walter. And incredible story about just the community, about Kaitlyn not stopping every day, about Walter surviving 29 freaking days. It's just crazy. So welcome to the show, Kaitlyn.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How was the snowstorm near you? Where are you located? You're located up in Albany? Or no, Pennsylvania.
Maine, New York. So semi-close.
Okay.
Pennsylvania. Yeah. And so, I mean, we didn't get too much. I mean, an average New York storm, so.
That's what I said. It's 10. Yeah. And Tad, you got a crap load amount.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get over 20. I think we topped out at about 18.
Oh.
That's fantastic. So
yeah.
So Kaitlyn joins us tonight. We're going to have an awesome chat, and let's start it off. Kaitlyn, how about you just give a little background about yourself, maybe like, where you grew up, if you got into the woods and outdoors and stuff like that. And then, of course, Walter, we'll get into that.
Yeah. So I grew up in New York. I'm from the town of Maine area, so that's kind of close to the PA border. As growing up, we went camping up in the Adirondacks all the time, and so we got into outdoor adventures that way. I moved away for college, but then came back, and when I came back, I decided I wanted to get back into outdoor adventures, and so that's how I kind of started. But when I'm not on an adventure, I'm actually a licensed vet technician, and I work at Cornell University.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like up there with the vet work
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That's great. What got you into the vet work and stuff?
Yeah, so I always wanted to do something in the field, and I was just kind of figure out where I wanted to go. But once I came back here, I did private practice for a little bit, and then decided to move on to Cornell, working in the oncology department. So a really unique situation.
So, isn't the Cornell veterinary programs one of the best in the world?
It is, yes. Which is nice because I get to work with all the students who are going to be going on to be vets. So it's nice to see everyone before they venture out.
Yeah.
They got like everything. They go how do you say Esquian? Esquian. How do you say it? The horses?
Equestrian.
Oh, equestrian.
Equestrian. That's horrible. Tracy's going to kill me for that one. Tash.
Stosh was getting a little overconfident with the pronunciation.
Yes, I screwed up. But they go everywhere. I mean, I took my dog Lydia, who needed a mammogram, all the way up to Ithaca, Oneonta to Ithaca. And is that that's where you have to travel? You have to travel from Maine to Ithaca?
Yeah, it's like 50 minutes, so not too bad.
Well, that's cool. That's amazing. So how did this tie into how you rescued Walter and such?
Yeah, so I did rescue him from my previous vet clinic. He came in, he had a bite wound from an unknown animal, and he wasn't vaccinated, unfortunately. And so they're pretty strict with the rabies protocol. So they said that he had to be quarantined, which turned into a big adventure for the owners. So they opted to euthanize him. And instead of euthanasia, I convinced them to sign him over to me. The vet clinic let me quarantine him there, and then he got to come home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's crazy. That's like, and then you beforehand, like you started going out where you were out like a hiker before you met Walter and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little bit. When I came back home, I did more kayaking, and then we'd go camping every now and then, but it wasn't as much as I did now when I have Walter.
Cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that because Walter does not like going in the kayak, being on the water, or something else?
Oh no, Walter loves going kayaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves the water. It was just like at the time, kayaking was easier for me than going hiking. And so I decided to do that instead of more hiking adventures until I got into that more.
Yeah. And where is it in or near Maine, New York, you go kayaking?
So there's like Whitney Point, which has a reservoir up there. And then we're pretty close to Ithaca. So you can go up there to the Finger Lakes and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Nice. Good prime spots.
Yeah.
I think Whitney Point has the Hellbenders up there, so watch out.
Yeah.
Didn't they just not just a couple of years ago had the alligator incident up there?
They did, yeah. I was actually kayaking just to see if I happened to see them, but I never got to.
That's a good thing to talk about.
So Stosh, remind our listeners what a hellbender is.
Oh, so what? I forgot what episode he was on, but we talked about snakes, and he brought the hellbender, and this is like a massive salamander, like I can't even describe, 2 times bigger than Walter. So I'm just out there in the muddy waters.
It's like upstate New York's equivalent of an alligator.
Oh man.
They were something else.
Yeah. Oh, I have no idea where we are. We're someplace. Okay, so we've done the general who Kaitlyn is. Let's so you hook up with Walter, he's on death row, you decide to give him a pardon. So you take him in, and how is it you got Walter into hiking? I mean, and camping, what does that entail? How do you condition or train a feline?
So think there's much training for felines. They kind of do what they want to do. Walter, I always said he was more of a dog than a cat. So when I brought him home, I wanted him to be an indoor cat, but he just kept breaking out of windows and escaping. So he always wanted to go on his own set of adventures. So he was one that kind of wanted to do it himself. And then even like before we started doing adventures, he was always getting into trouble. So I kind of knew from the get-go that he might be something that he wants to do later on. So before we got into hiking, I just kind of walked with him on a leash, conditioning him to like know what to do if we're out in public, stuff like that. He's very food motivated. So food was an excellent treat and getting him to learn the ropes of hiking.
Wow. So other than a leash, what other equipment, gear do you need when you take Walter out camping?
Yeah.
Do you have his own sleeping bag as an example?
He does. So we have a special backpack that has mesh on it, and it kind of rolls up so he can jump in and out of my backpack. And so I make sure I have a lot of stuff there for him to be comfortable with. And then for the tent wise, I try to make sure to lock it up at night. So like the carabiners on the door so he can't open it. He has a big bed that I put in there, and he can sleep in a sleeping bag.
Gotcha. I take it you don't have one of those inflatable sleeping pads.
No, I always think about it, but unfortunately he would pop it.
Yeah. Play with it.
So, yeah.
Scratch
so for
it up.
the most part, we just stay in a lot of like the New York State campgrounds. So we don't do any backpacking into the woods and set up there. We usually have like a home base, which makes it easier for him because I like to bring toys. He loves campfire. So he has his own camp chair. So he'll sit by the campfire at night. So, yeah.
Wow.
So wait, I guess one of the basic questions that some of our listeners might want to know is just how old is Walter?
He was about a year old when I got him. So right now we think he's about 8 years old.
So he's been doing this for a while, 6-7 years. He's been an adventure cat.
Yeah, we mainly started quite a bit during COVID just because everything you couldn't go out with people. And I wanted to go hiking, but didn't want to go alone. I had elderly dogs at the time, so they weren't a good candidate. And so I decided just to try it out with Walter. And I figured if it went poorly, we'd just pack up early and go home. But he loved it right from the get-go.
Wow. So in retrospect, if I wanted to get my cat into Catskill hiking or backpacking, how do you suggest I go about doing that?
Yeah. I always just say is like if they're motivated to do that kind of stuff. So there are cats that are just homebodies. They don't want to leave home. They don't want to do that. So if you have a cat like that, I mean, it's probably best just leave them home. But I just started with short walks around the house, short walks outside on a leash, making sure he was comfortable with that. And then slowly making sure they have something that makes them feel secure. So Walter knows that if he's in the backpack, no one can touch him. No one can pet him. That's like his home base, and that's his safety net. So when we're out and about in the woods, if someone comes up and tries to pet him, but he's in his backpack, I just, politely decline, let him be. If he wants to see someone, he'll jump down and see them. So
interesting. So you described there being this mesh component to it. I know when I'm in airports, I see backpacks that have like this plastic bubble window where the cat is behind that. Does Walter have one of those, like the fishbowl backpack?
Yeah, it's something similar, but his is a little more open, a little more for, for camping and breathable. So it's probably the same company I saw does sell those bubble backpacks, but his is designed just for his camping adventures.
Okay.
It zips all the way up, so if he needs to be, he could be contained in it. But I usually have it unzipped, and he's on a leash. He knows he can hop in and out.
Okay. So one last question before I turn it back to Stosh. Ticks.
Oh,
what do you do for Walter and ticks? Like some type of collar, repellent, something else? What's going on with that?
He does a topical, and I like it because it repels, especially because he's a lot of times on my shoulders, jumping in and out. So he does a topical preventative monthly.
Gotcha.
Okay, what's the topical? What do you suggest?
Well, right now he's using the NextGuard combo,
Okay.
but he was doing like an oral tablet Credelio, which worked really well for him. And he doesn't do the collars well, so we've never tried a collar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year I tried a collar on myself. I got a little rash.
It happens.
Yeah. So I went with the topical right in the center of my neck because I can't lick it back there.
Those can fit around you, Ted? Those are tight.
Well, I used to. I double it up.
Okay.
I
That makes sense.
MacGyver it. I double them up, a little duct tape. I'm good to go.
You should have one on each wrist, foot, stuff like that.
Don't be ridiculous. Okay. We're talking ticks. It's serious business.
It definitely is. It definitely is. I mean, that's a good question because, just, a lot of people don't hike with cats and stuff like that. Like, do you have him like on a leash most of the time, like in the campground, like stuff like that? Like, do you suggest any gear as well besides of just your backpack and such?
Yeah, so he's typically always on a leash when we're in a campground, just typically because we stay in a DC campground. And so all pets are required to be on a leash. So he has a leash so he can go between the tent and the campfire because he loves the campfire. As for harnesses, I've gone through a bunch of different ones. There's nothing like special about any of them, just as long as they can't slip out of them. So typically he only wears it when he's on the leash. And then when he's in the tent, I take him off.
Yeah. And that's, that kind of goes intertwines with the next question. So you're out with Walter, you're camping at North South Lake. So awesome camp spot, stuff like that. Very popular. And then Walter gets loose in the morning. You wake up, he's not there. When did this happen? What time of year we're talking about?
Yeah, so it was October time frame. It was fall of it was October 23rd is when he originally went missing. And I went to bed, he was in the tent, woke up and he wasn't. So he unzipped the tent somehow while I was sleeping.
Oh wow. And that that's it. We have a new kind of cat now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I typically have like carabiners on the zippers. I was in there reading, fell asleep, and forgot to put the carabiner on. So at some point in the night, he was able to reach up, pull the zipper down, and that's how he got out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So it's like the time frame was between midnight and I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. So that was when we figured he got out.
Oh, wow.
So when you have the carabiner on during the night, do you hear him trying to unzip the tent?
I never have before. So I'm sure maybe he tried before and wasn't successful, but this was the first time he must have really been able to.
Got you.
And this is, we're in October and he gets out. What happens like at the time of when you realize he's not there?
Yeah, so I took everything out of the tent thinking maybe he's stuck in my sleeping bag or underneath where I sleep, but I pulled everything out, couldn't find him, and it was 4:30 in the morning, so I started to walk around the campsite, but it was so dark, it was really hard to try to see where he could be. So I know he loves campfires, so I decided to build one, hoping that maybe he would venture back in. But then by 8 o'clock, nothing was happening, so I kind of abandoned that and went on to the next step.
No.
So what campground were we at when this happens?
North South Lake Campground.
And whereabouts in that campground? Were you near one of the lakes? Were you off in one of the corners of the place?
I was in a loop that's kind of off to the side. I was near a creek, and Walter loves water, so unfortunately he could walk right near the water. But we were tucked away from people, but still at a place where he could kind of walk around.
Yeah. And so you get up, it's early, it's before 8 o'clock. Are you calling for him? Were there other campers nearby and you didn't want to make a lot of noise? What's the setting like that morning?
Yeah, there weren't too many people there because it was during a weekday. It was a Thursday. So I did go out. I did try to call him. I shook the food. But the other issue was there was also a lot of raccoons around and a lot of like bear warnings. So I didn't want to make too much of a stink trying to get him back. So I just kind of quietly looked for him. But once at 8 o'clock hit, I figured that he was either hiding or I was worried that he jumped into someone's camper.
To get warm and stuff? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people from out of state. So when I was walking around the campground, there's New Jersey, Maryland, Pennsylvania. So I was like, oh man, he's really going to travel far if he gets into someone's camper from Maryland.
Mhm.
But
By the way, what's his relationship with dogs when you're out camping or hiking?
yeah, I have dogs at home. They stay home when we go camping.
Mhm.
But the issue is a lot of dogs when we go hiking are so excited to see a cat and they just get too excited and try to like get him or bother him and he doesn't appreciate it. So
Mhm.
most of the time if he sees a dog, he'll just hop up on my shoulder to kind of get away from them and look from afar.
And so in the morning in question, when
Mhm.
Walter's missing, are there dogs around?
I didn't see too many dogs. There was one farther down in the loop, but they were sleeping in a camper, so there weren't
Mhm.
many dogs around.
Okay. So it's early morning. You're now going around the camp area looking for Walter. Are you like calling out his name?
Hmm.
You're going into
Yeah.
people's campsites and asking them if they've seen a cat, and they say, "What do you mean, a mountain lion, a bobcat?" And
Yeah.
you say, "No, just like a little feline." He answers to Walter. I mean,
Yeah.
so how long are you doing that before you enlist people to help you? Are they volunteering to
Yeah.
help you? Is there a search party forming? What's
Yeah.
going on that morning?
It was a little tricky because one, I don't have service there, so I couldn't communicate with anyone that Walter was missing. But the other issue was we were actually supposed to be going home.
Hmm.
So we were supposed to be checking out, packing up, going hiking, and then going home. So I had to go to the front desk to make sure I could try to find another campsite to stay in, so I could stay until I found him. Which they have an emergency site that I could stay in. But I had to take about an hour to figure out the whole new living situation while we wait for Walter to come back.
Mm. So who else, if you don't mind my asking, who else is there with you that you're searching for Walter with?
Yeah, so the first day it was just me. I did tell the staff members at the campground. They did help. They did help look. They went around, but they also had their own responsibilities to do. And so that when they could, they helped me look. But besides that, it was just me. I went into town to let my family know so they could kind of see what they could do on their end. But for the
Mhm.
first day, it was just me and whoever was in the campground. I was just telling them.
Wow. Did anybody like kind of shoo you off thinking you're like on drugs? Because North South Lake is a no holds bar like kind of like campground of where like there's people from the city that come up there and get wasted. I've come through in the morning and see people pass out on they're outside of their campsite. So anybody like just be like, what's wrong with this lady? Don't ignore her.
No, I luckily didn't experience anything like that. The person who actually took my old campsite, she told me I could come down, hang out, sit by her fire to see if Walter would come back. The next people who moved in there, they also let me stay there if I wanted to see if he would come back. So everyone was very supportive.
I mean, that sounds like the Catskills to me.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what like you're searching, and then unfortunately it's a Thursday. So what happens like your next week when you got to work and like what are your plans during the work days?
Yeah, I was just taking it day by day because at first I thought, he's going to come back. It's going to be a day, no big deal. I'll find him, go home. And then when I figured out that I don't think it's going to happen that fast, I did communicate my work, but they're very supportive. They said whatever I need to do to bring Walter home, I could request time off as needed and kind of play it day by day.
Well,
So,
I mean, they're all animal lovers, so I guess they would probably have that sympathy of being like, go get the hell out there and go rescue him and stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, how many days were you at the campground overnight
Mm-hmm.
searching for Walter?
Yeah, so
Continuously after that first day.
Yeah, so he escaped on that Thursday, and unfortunately, the campground was closing on Sunday. So no matter,
Wow.
so no matter what, everyone had to be out by Sunday. So I stayed right up to Sunday, and then they found me a primitive campsite close by that I stayed at for one more day. Then I had to go home because I needed to get more supplies. I needed to make more flyers, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And how far of a drive is that?
It's like 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this your first like? I mean, how many adventures like camping stuff have you done with Walter previous to this?
We usually try to do like 2 or 3 a year. So he's had a couple under his belt. We started during COVID time frame, so he's been doing it for 5 years.
So he's used to it. And just
Yeah.
Does Does Walter collect any patches for his camping adventures?
That is why we're in the Catskills, because we've done the Fire Tower Challenge 3 years in a row. And so our goal was to do it in 2025 for our fourth patch, and we didn't finish it, unfortunately. So that's why we were there, to collect our patches.
Does he get a separate patch? Do you guys each get a patch?
They do actually send me one for him. and a lot of the other ones, the Adirondacks, they will also send patches that are like for dogs and stuff, but they'll send it for Walter.
Oh, that's cool.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like now you're getting into the weeks and stuff like that. We're talking about weeks and week 29 days is 4 weeks. So that's what happens like in the middle. Like, are you ever like, God, this is not going to turn out good?
Mm-hmm. It was hard because like when you focus on a map of the Catskills, you look at how big it is and you're like, man, I don't know what way he could have gone. It would be different if I knew like what way he was going to go, but I had no idea which direction he started at. So there were times when I was like, this can't end well. And then I would get really sad and think about all the adventures that we still have to do. And I was like, I can't give up on him. He's the one who like saved himself from the get-go. And then he also loved adventures. So I was like, if anyone could get out of the situation, it would be him. So you spend Sunday night at the primitive camp. You leave Monday to go home, resupply, make flyers. Yeah.
When do you come back? And when you come back, where are you staying?
Yeah, so the primitive campsite allowed you to stay there. So I went back to the same spot, and I usually went up early Saturday morning and then stayed overnight Sunday and then went back home Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really close to the campground, and then I just kind of worked from there. I did get a hotel one night because it was just the weather was too bad, but most of the time I try to find like a primitive campsite.
And did you bring any friends or family from home to come with you to do any searching?
So the first, when I was at the campground still, I did have a friend come up. She brought a handful of flyers, and then she also did help me search for like a day and a half. But besides that, it was just mainly people I met on the way. So there were so many people who saw his flyers or heard through the grapevine that he was missing, and those are the people who kept spreading the word for me. So most of the time, it was just me by myself.
Wow. So at some point, I understand that there is a sighting on a trail cam. But before you learn of that, do you hit a low point?
It came in waves.
Yeah.
It came in waves.
And so tell us about that. Before you got any sign that gave you hope, what was your low point, and what kept you going?
So I don't know if anyone else heard, but actually at the same time Walter was missing, 2 days later, another cat from North South Lake Campground went missing as well. So there was another cat missing. They're from New York City. The cat was like 8 pounds, but actually had almost identical markings to Walter. And it went missing in loop 8, and it was close to loop 2 where I was at. So it was really hard having 2 cats missing and 2 people like focusing on that. And the issue was they kept seeing sightings, and we never knew which cat it was. And so that was really hard. And that was when it was like, every time you get your hopes up and they'd be like, oh, nope, it's the other cat.
Wow. So I have to ask right now, out of order, how is it that you know that you actually got your Walter back and not this other cat from New York City?
Yes. Walter is microchipped, and I took him to the vet. He is scanned, and it does match. Yeah,
but you weren't sure up until that point in time. That's interesting. Now, was the other... So was this other cat that went missing, is that cat of the same sex or different sex than Walter?
It was a female. Different sex. And it was 8 pounds, and Walter's 13 pounds. So quite a bit smaller. Yeah.
Now it's fitting together. Okay. Yeah. So you hit this low point. Were you coming up every day, every other day? How often were you coming up before you got any sign that Walter was still in the Catskills?
Yeah, I tried to go up on the weekend. So typically it was just, I would go home during the weekday and come up on Saturday, Sunday. If anything happened over the weekend, I would usually stay like on Monday, but then I would have to go back home. So it's usually only on the weekend time frame, give or take like a Friday and a Monday.
And what's your search area consist of at this point in time?
Yeah, so at first it was just anywhere. I honestly didn't know where to look because I don't know if you've ever been to a north-south campground.
Just a couple times.
Just a couple hundred.
It's huge, and
Mhm.
there's so many rocks and so many hiding spots. And I was like, he could be under any rock, and I would never know.
Yeah, right.
So I just started going to every loop and looking under every possible big rocks that I could see, thinking maybe he was in there. So the first time we looked at was like mainly the campground, because also everyone was also saying cats don't wander far. They usually stay within a mile of where they go missing. And I was like, I don't know if Walter would do that, but we'll give it a shot. But he was long gone.
Wow. Now, did you how did the community get involved with this? Like, how did you, of course, you said you put flyers up and well, I'm guessing, once again, social media is a double-edged sword, but it in situations like this, I praise social media.
Yeah, I at first I wasn't sure what to do, but when I start thinking of like everyone who was there from out of state, and I was like, if Walter got picked up and went to Maryland, I need to get the word out. So I did put it on Facebook, and it went pretty crazy. That's actually how one of the forest rangers heard about it. Was she saw a post on Facebook of Walter that he was missing. So I really just had to keep putting it out there, because at this point I didn't know what direction to look at, and at least if everyone knew about him, then people would get the word out.
Did you talk to, you said it was Fox, and did you talk to Dawson as well?
Briefly, but it was mainly Fox who helped out.
Kaitlyn is amazing. She is over in the Wyndham Blackhead Range, and she helps out with my area that I have for maintenance, and she is just super cool. So it's really, really neat. So that's fantastic. And how did the word get out to the local areas, that had trail cameras and stuff? Like, how did that's insane. That the communication is just insane.
That was really Katie Fox's doing, because she was saying, she was like, we have to let people know in the area. And she's like, I'm going to let the hunters know, because we're coming into hunting season. And so she was like, I'll tell them and stuff like that. And so it just happened that she told the right people. They're really getting it out there that way. And that's how the trail cam video came about.
Where was that spotted at? Oh, wait, Tad, you got something?
Yeah. So before you get the trail cam, I'm trying to have this suspense for the listeners here. So before you get the trail cam sighting of Walter, did you get the drones involved, or was that afterwards?
Oh, yeah.
I did. So the drones can't fly in the campgrounds. So I had to get special permission to try to get them in. But during the days that he went missing, it was coming up on a weekend, and the campground was filled to capacity. There was a big kid activity going on. So there was hundreds and hundreds of kids everywhere. And the guy with the drone came and he said, I don't know if I would be able to find anything. There's way too many people in this area. So he didn't even fly that night. He just went home. And then the next day we got permission to fly next to the campground area, and we didn't pick up anything. So we got them involved twice in the campground areas, but didn't really pan out to anything.
And when you say the drone, when you say the drone didn't pick up anything, does that mean no animal life at all was picked up by the drone?
It was, so the one day it was getting close to dawn, and I guess they prefer to fly closer to the dusk time, but he felt really bad for me. So he's like, I'll just come right down now. We didn't see really any animals on that day, maybe a bluebird here and there, but nothing too exciting. There's also the issue was that there was people walking, and so they're picking up the people walking.
Yeah. It's infrared, right?
Yeah.
Or heat.
Yeah.
So was the drone operator the same fellow that found the dog up in that area about 2 years ago?
I don't think so. He's fairly new at it. So I can't unfortunately remember the name. But
we had a guy on here. I forgot what his name was. I think it was Nathan, and he was pretty cool, and he did the same thing to the same area, right? Ted, he was over
just around the corner.
Dutcher's Notch. So that's right around there. So now, were you at this time, did you go hiking? In fact, there's the escarpment trail right there. You go up to North-South Lake, the viewpoints, Artist Rock stuff. Were you out there freaking pounding hiking? Did you ever think he was beyond the ridge right there of North-South Lake? There's a massive ridge.
Yeah, we did go. I did go hiking the first few days, but then it was just like I don't know which way to go, and I still had hope that he was in the campground. So I was like, I didn't want to go too far and make my scent go everywhere, so he didn't know which way to go if he could pick up my scent. So I kind of did the trails here and there. My one friend who came up did the trails, and then a lot of the people who were going hiking, I put a missing poster sign there, and a lot of people were texting me, letting me know if they didn't see anything.
Mm.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there comes a point in time that you learn that a cat was seen on a trail cam. How when is it that you hear this? How is it you hear it? Who contacts you? Give us the lowdown on the trail cam sighting.
Yeah, so the trail cam sighting, the trail cam picked him up within the first 2 hours of him missing. So it picked him up on October 23rd at 2 a.m. And he was just cruising. He was going so fast, just walking, doing his business. And it's not in a relatively like populated area. So the owner didn't go check the trail cam until about a week later. So I didn't get that news until the Thursday following that a trail cam picked him up.
Wow.
And how did you find out? Was it Ranger Fox or something else?
Yep. She called me and to let me know that there was a cat sighting on a trail cam. The issue was a lot of the photos that I had was of his like right side, and this only showed his left side. So she was like, "You need to get me photos of his left side so you can try to see if this is him." So I was digging through all my photos, realizing I really only take photos of his right side, and trying to find something to match the spots up, and it was him.
Well, we should have gotten Ranger Fox on here with us on this one.
Yeah. So little note to all of our listeners: make sure you have photos of all of your domestic animals from every angle, maybe even the bottom. Okay, I'm just saying that.
Yes, every spot.
Away. So this wasn't a fresh sighting on a trail cam, but was this? How far away was the trail cam from your campsite where Walter made his escape?
Yeah. So the weird thing is the person who owns the trail cam, I actually met him the day before because Walter and I were hiking Hunter Mountain. And when we got to the top, there were 4 DEC workers there, and they're working on the caretaker cabin. So they all met Walter. And it happened to be one of the workers' trail cam who picked him up. It's about a mile away from my campsite. So he walked a mile within the first hour of his freedom.
Whoa, nice speed. So, like shit, no wonder why mountain lions can move.
Yeah, I heard he signed up for the escarpment trail run.
Yeah, I wonder how many mountain lions he met on his freaking way there up there, man. So, I mean, a mile. So, I mean, we're not going to break the ice now. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. So, we're talking about a mile north of the campground, correct?
Yeah.
So, Walter's going over North Mountain, which is a pretty steep freaking gain. And like South Mountain and stuff like that. So that's insane. So he's going, like you would think he would go down like the Catskill Falls area where there's food everywhere and rappers and people fighting and stuff.
So is the supposition that he basically, for lack of a better term, bushwhacked over North Mountain? That's crazy. Stosh, have you ever bushwhacked North Mountain?
I have. There's something on North Mountain that's as steep as heck.
Yeah. On the side that Walter went up?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
But I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
I mean, that you got to admit, right below North Mountain is pretty steep. You're walking right on the edge. So now we're evolving into the later on days where how long did you not hear anything about Walter?
After the trail cam.
Yeah, after the trail cam.
It wasn't until November 9th is when I heard the official sighting of him.
And where was that located?
It was in East Jewett area near the fire station.
No shit.
Someone was driving by. I just finished hiking near Colgate Lake, but someone was driving by, saw a white cat sitting in a field, and they sent it to me, but I didn't have service. So I actually wasn't in the area. I was 15 minutes away, but by the time I got to that area, he was already gone.
Oh my God. I seriously, my anxiety, like right now, listening to this story and be like 15 minutes away, but I missed him. Like I'm sorry, but I will share my emotion. I'd be bawling my eyes out just to be like, I missed him.
What day of the week was that?
That was Sunday.
So what do? You get this information. a same day sighting. It's a Sunday.
Mhm.
Presumably, you're scheduled to work the next day.
Yeah, I called off work.
Yeah.
Nice. Good
And-
call.
and did
And
you
I was
stay-
like,
Did you stay in the
I was
area?
gonna stay, but then it was a torrential downpour. It was so rainy that day, and I was like, Walter's not gonna be out in this weather, hopefully not. So I was like, I'm just gonna go home. I was like an hour and a half home when someone called me saying that a white cat just walked up to their porch. But as soon as they opened the door, he ran off. So he was in that area. Missed him again. So I decided just to go home, and I was like, I'll be back up Monday. It should be easy. I should be able to find him, but it wasn't.
Wow. This is it's intense. Like it's just you're thinking like once again, like a cat escaping, you'd think you would go down to the area where it's more popular. There's I mean, that sounds weird, but there's bathrooms and stuff like that near the beach and stuff. There's Catskill Falls, there's easy trails. But he decides to bushwhack up freaking North Mountain, probably jog along the escarpment, saying hi to a few people. It's October, so people are out there enjoying it because it's a perfect time of year. Then he heads over to East Jewett, just coming around. It's just phenomenal. I mean, I wish I could be climbing on the escarpment trail or something and be like, hey, it looks like a white cat. Look at that guy. And he's just like, what's going on, man? I'm bushwhacking over this way. Got to tag a couple peaks. Take it easy.
Yeah. Enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens? There's a sighting by the fire department in East Jewett.
Oh.
You learn of this.
Mhm.
What happens next?
So I went up there Monday thinking I'd come home with him, and there's absolutely zero sighting. He wasn't seen all day. I couldn't call him out. He didn't come to any food, nothing. So I went home again, just waiting to see what would happen.
Okay. And you don't come back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? When do you come back next?
I come back on that Saturday.
Okay.
And we didn't see anything on Saturday. And then Sunday, someone called saying that he was in their backyard. I was once again not in an area of service, and I got over there as fast as I could. About 20 minutes later, and he was already gone.
And this is still in the East Jewett area.
Yeah.
Okay. And
he really liked that area. He decided once he got there, he was going to kind of hang out there. I'm not sure where at, but in the area.
I mean, it's a great area. It's a lot. Sorry to say, there's a lot of rich homes there, so there's probably a lot of good food there and stuff like that. Good mouse that are nice and fat.
Walter was looking to upgrade, I guess. I don't know.
He was.
Yeah.
He's just like, man, this place is nice. I'm going to stick around here.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna. You almost get him. When do you actually see Walter? This is. What 29 days later? So what date? What's the date?
It was right before Thanksgiving time frame.
Wow. And 29 days later. So what is the how did you get contacted to that you knew he was there?
So before that, there was another possible sighting about 30 minutes away again, but that cat ended up not being Walter. And so then it was just really just hanging out in the East Jewett area. We figured that he must be content there. A lot of the neighbors knew about him, but no one really ever saw him. I did post for a reward to get him back. I did get a couple of people saying that they had Walter in their house and they would give him back to me if I paid the reward. I was so desperate that I was going to pay them, and my family's like, don't do it. So there was a lot of people saying they had him. I don't know if it was true, but maybe he was in someone's house. Maybe he
It's
wasn't.
like a hostage situation.
Yeah.
Send me a picture of this confirmation.
Yeah. So how much was the reward? How much were you giving for Walter?
True.
How much is he worth? That's what I want to know.
So at first I just put $300 because I was like, I don't know what people would want. And then as it got longer and longer, I kept saying we would up it to 1,000, just hoping that maybe, but we weren't going to publicize it too much of how much, because we kept getting all the fake people saying that, oh, I have Walter. And I was like, well, now I don't know. And I was desperate. I was going to pay anyone.
That's sad. That's sad that people would fake that, especially for a cat.
Walter's in my home office here. Come on over, Walter. Yeah. It says for $1,250 he'll come home.
I seriously don't
have
cash.
photos.
Cash. Yeah, I have photos, but they're not of his left side. Okay.
I seriously don't know how I didn't hear of this and stuff like that. Like I would have.
I remember hearing about
Why
it.
I would have seriously called into work and been like, the SAR team is going out to look for
why didn't you call in search and rescue?
Walter.
They could have bandaged him up, like put an ace bandage around his arm.
I seriously, I would have been out there. I was just like, listen, I'm going to be camping for like 8 days, Jessica. Take it easy.
Yeah, but how confident were you that these people that were calling up for the reward didn't actually have them? What was the tell that you knew they were just pulling your leg? Your tail. They were pulling your tail.
They couldn't provide any photos of him. But it also, like, in a way, I was like, I never see him during the day. I only see him at night. So maybe he is in someone's house during the day and they let him out at night. I wasn't sure, but in the end, as soon as I said that I want photo evidence and like really demanded that, they ended up just, stop texting me, blocking me, stuff like that. So I think most of them just wanted the money.
Wow. That's I didn't, that's sad. Like, it's just weird that somebody would do that. I mean, funny, it's the way it is. But now, like, the first you see, how did you see Walter? How did this physically happen? Like, this is insane.
It wasn't like really. It was just a general thing that happened. I heard meowing. There was someone who saw him the day before. She was like, "I think I can grab him," but I was like, "I don't know if he gets scared, just abandon the mission because I don't want him getting scared of everyone." And I was up there looking near the East Jewett fire station. She was actually there. Kimberly was there at the time too, who saw him the day before, and we heard meowing. And all of a sudden, Walter just comes walking up, and I picked him up, walked to my car, and that was it.
Wow. So where does he come walking out from underneath a porch, a building, out from underneath stairs? Where is it? Yeah, he was
between two bushes. There was a house on each side and there were some bushes in between, and he just walks up like nothing happened.
Yeah. Was he meowing, purring?
Yeah. He did meow when we first heard him. That's how I called him over.
Yeah.
As soon as he got into the car, he was like purring nonstop. So yeah.
And how did he look like? Like, was he like malnourished? Was he nice and fat, still 13 pounds?
Your professional assessment. What was your assessment of his health and well-being?
He looked pretty good. When I got him into the car, he did eat for me. So I was like, well, that's great. He had water. He curled up on my lap and he slept the whole way home. He was happy. He was drooling. His normal behavior. I did take him to work just to see it. And he lost a pound during his adventure, which I didn't think was too bad for a 29-day adventure.
Yeah.
29 days. Like, I mean, that's a lot of mice. That's probably like 3 or 4 mountain lions too, that he probably wrestled against.
And maybe a bear.
Any idea how far he traveled?
Yeah, right.
All these sightings, but it was miles. This cat traveled.
It was miles.
Yeah.
And I mean, we know for a fact that he definitely traveled a mile within the first hour or two of being out. So yeah, he traveled a lot.
And what were like the condition of his paws, his claws? They were in good condition.
Yeah, he had no wounds on him. I was surprised he didn't have any ticks on him, which I was also very shocked at. He was dirty, but he's a white cat and he's always dirty, so he looked really good. His nose had a little like crustiness on it, but it cleared up as soon as he got home.
Yeah. Do you know if they ever found the cat from New York City that was lost?
Yeah, they actually found it like 3 days later. It never left the campground. It was there the whole time.
Not as adventuresome as Walter.
No.
Yeah, Walter went out and had a good time. He's just like, gee, I mean, once again, looking at the map, you're going over like some ridges, some got to admit, some intense bushwhacks to get over to like the South Stopple or beyond Stopple Point. What's that beyond Stopple Point, Ted? It's part of the 100 highest. It's to the west.
There's West Stopple.
I think, West Stopple. That's an intense bushwhack.
Yeah.
And so he's going over in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always joke that he got mad because I made him climb Hunter Mountain the day before, and that's not an easy climb. And I always joke that he ran away because I made him climb that. But then after I saw where he bushwhacked through, I was like, okay, he just wanted his own adventure.
Yeah.
Going up Hunter, how much percentage wise do you think he was on leash and in your backpack?
He climbed like probably 50% of the way up.
Wow.
And then coming down, he did the whole thing. He walked.
Impressive.
You know what this proves, Stosh?
What's that?
It confirms something that I've known for a long time, and that is my cats are the laziest cats because they would never do any of this. They would never get out of the car, let alone like hike over to the tent and spend the night in the tent. So
that's, I mean, this shows that they have basically a middle finger and that they can survive on their own. They're just like, yeah. So that 1 pound, like once again, like over 29 days, that's and like he was surviving on his own. He was, do you think this is the time I wish we could, instead of put money into like rockets and stuff like that, we could put money into speaking with animals. I want to know his side of the story, to be like, what did you eat? Like, what did you do? Did you steal people's like other stray cats' food off of the stuff? Like it's intense. And
I did try, like, they have animal communicators. I did try those a couple times to see if, like, they could talk with Walter. And every time they're like, he's scared, he's sad, he's, like, hiding. And I was like, okay, maybe he is, but he wasn't. I mean, he was probably scared, but he wasn't hiding. He was walking. He was, so.
Wow. That's amazing. Now, when you meet him, how hard did you cry?
I'm actually not a person who cries a lot, so I was just so overjoyed that I was just laughing because I like couldn't believe it was real.
No shit. That's a little different. Like I would be seriously bawling my eyes out. Like
I think it wasn't until the next day because like I just couldn't believe it was real. Like it just felt like a dream. And then the next morning I woke up and that's when I cried. I was like, Walter's here, and he's like, okay. So
I saw the article in the Times Union newspaper. Any other newspaper articles about this ordeal?
I think it was just that one. There was like an Upstate Sports that I wrote an article for recently. So just those two. Yeah.
Any other podcasts that you've been on about this? No, the only one, the Inside the Line.
Only one.
Wow, impressive. Wow, we got it first. Nice.
So, yeah.
Like so. Do you want to do this one, Ted? So like. How, with these 29 days, I know for Walter, it probably went by in a breeze. How for you did it? Like, I know looking back then, it probably went by pretty fast. But in the time, you were probably just floating, and each day was like, very long time.
Yeah. It was hard because social media was necessary to try to find him. But also, like, people were mean on there. They would say some pretty mean things about like my efforts of trying to find him, and I was like, I'm trying the best I can. I've never experienced this before, but my family and my friends were amazing, and they were always checking in, making sure I was okay. And then honestly, just going to work and seeing everyone else's pets like really brought my mood up to kind of keep me going, be like, it's going to be okay.
I would imagine over this period of time that Walter was on his little excursion, you had other things planned, right? Like, one weekend after this, you would be doing this or doing that.
Yeah.
So you had to cancel those plans to come out here, had the reward and the uncertainty and all of that. And I understand that after all of this was done, you got a GPS tracker for him?
I did. Yes.
So tell us about that. Which one did you get? How was it worn or applied? And what made you pick the one that you got for Walter?
I got the Tractive one, which they honestly, if you have a pet that goes missing and you put it out for the public to know using like certain social media things, they actually sent me a free tracker. All I had to pay for was a subscription for the tracking device. So I went with that one just because I was like, we're going to give it a try. If he loses it, then hopefully I don't lose too much money. But it's really interesting. I find that he's very active between the hours of midnight and 2 a.m, which makes sense of why he escaped them. I'm not sure why. Yeah, it does have points where like if you don't have enough service, it doesn't pick up where he's at. So there are dead spots, but the theory behind it is hopefully if he walks far enough out of those dead spots, then it'll pick him up again.
Gotcha. What was this device again? Just so for their listeners, and I can write it down in the show notes.
The Tractive one.
Tractive.
And what's the monthly subscription fee or the annual fee?
Yeah, so you could pick between a year, 2 years, or 5 years, and I just did the basic 2 years, which was like $200.
Okay.
So I was like, I spent more money trying to find him than that, so I was willing to pay that.
Right. And do you have to recharge it from time to time?
Yeah, unfortunately, the battery life isn't the best. It's only like 3 days, and like in this cold weather, it like drains it
Wow.
really fast. But when he's home, I'm not as concerned. But definitely when we're going hiking the next time, I already have a portable charger to charge it to make sure it's like full all the time.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
definitely then you gotta find them within those 3 days, or it's no
Yeah.
point in having the tracker.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's
at least like
interesting.
if that was there, I would have had like a sense of directions to get go like from the beginning, where I
Hmm.
felt like for the first like week and a half, I had no idea which way to go.
I
So,
Yeah.
I couldn't even
yeah.
imagine. Like just
Mhm.
like my cat escaped one time. He was an indoor cat and he escaped. And I'm just sitting out back for hours shaking the food, thinking he'd come back, and this guy hops over a 6 foot fence and just meows to me and comes back, and I'm like bawling my eyes out because number one, he came back, but number two, I'm glad that my wife wasn't home before she figured out that he escaped, and I would have been brutally beaten.
Screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So, having gone through this experience, other than getting a tracking device, in terms of the search efforts, what would be your advice to somebody else if a, a dog or a cat goes missing on them? What was the mistake you made, or what was the best thing that you did that you would pass along to somebody else who has to go and search for a animal, a pet out in the
Yeah.
wilderness?
I definitely think the GPS collars, there's so many different ones out there, are really important because at least
Hmm.
you can kind of have a sense about where they're going. And then also just really find the place they're at, find the community members because they're really amazing people out there. The people in East Jewett area were so invested in Walter. They were texting me, they were
Hmm.
calling me all the time asking for updates, and they were really like if we see anything, we'll let you know as soon as possible. So the community was like what brought him home.
I
So
mean, I believe it. Like there, I find this community once again to like come
hmm
together during times like this. And I mean,
hmm
there, once again, social media, double-edged sword, but
hmm
the information gets out there. You feel bad with some of the stuff people say, but the
hmm
information gets out there quickly. And then there are
yeah.
people willing to just help and fight
hmm
for, that, especially, I gotta admit, for an animal, I would do a lot more than I would do for a human. Like I gotta admit, if there's a dog out there or something like that, I would have been like, the search and rescue,
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Like
hmm
I gotta go for
We're looking.
Walter.
Yeah.
I'd be like, sorry, boss, Walter's missing out there, and they're like, who's Walter? I'll tell you when I find him.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. And like, do you have anything besides, like you said, the tracker? Anything else besides, like, for the future that you guys planning on doing, or like you
Mhm.
plan on once again like keeping track of Walter, maybe like
Yeah.
locking the tent with a key
Yeah.
and stuff that he can't.
Yeah, we're definitely locking the tent at all times. He does actually have a big crate that he sleeps in, like a dog kennel, but it's more like a comfort one. It's extravagant, and
Hmm.
he's supposed to be sleeping in that. But I've gotten so used to camping with him that I was like, you can sleep wherever you want, but he's definitely going to be in there for a good little bit.
Does he like that? Like, is he comfortable?
I mean, he has a sleeping bag. He has all of his toys in bed, so it is pretty nice. But he does like to come in and bother me when I'm sleeping, so I'm sure he'd prefer to sleep on my sleeping bag. But you know, he kind of lost that privilege.
Do you have
Yeah.
any plans in the Catskills, like to camp out besides like north south? Are you going to ever take it? Is that a forbidden place now?
We actually have already gone back to the Catskills.
Oh
We
wow.
went we went hiking on Overlook Mountain because
Hmm.
we were trying to do the tower still. So we went back in early December, and he was an angel. He hiked it with no issue, behaved himself. So
Good.
we are planning to go back because we want to get our patch this year.
But the fire towers again?
Yeah,
You have two extras now. You know that, right?
I did see that, so I was like trying to figure out when we're gonna go camping because now we have more that we need to do.
Yeah. I mean, Bramley is 30 minutes south of me, and then Unseanta is 45 minutes east of me. So, like Unseanta, you can just drive them up to the top, but you can hike them up if you want. But Bramley is something else. It's incredible. So,
I'm excited.
yeah. Ted, you got any last questions you want to throw out there?
And I'm just kind of wondering why my cats are so lazy and they just lie around the house all day.
You telling me, Tad, you would take one of your cats out to hike and you would have them on leash and you'd be, oh, that's awesome. Like I never saw that.
Yeah. I don't remember ever seeing a cat on trail in the Catskills. And I just, to me, one of the interesting things would be is the cat dog encounter on trail.
Yeah.
How well or poorly that goes down. Because, some people let their dogs get pretty far ahead of them.
Yeah.
And I could just see that being something to be avoided. So
yeah. I always say like Walter has spidey sense because he can sense a dog coming before I even know they're coming. So luckily for him, he's kind of used to like picking it up, and I know his like body language. So he'll stop, he'll sit on my feet, and then like give me the look, and I was like, okay, there's a dog up here, and he'll hop up on my shoulder. So for him, luckily, he'll tell me, but I feel like most cats probably wouldn't tell you.
Yeah. That's I mean, good point, Tad. Unfortunately, a lot of people have their dog off leash, and that could be a problem, especially, once again, if the cat is reactive and the dog reactive, it's a negative thing. So leash up your dogs like Scott and Darren, our good friends of the podcast. Leash them up around your waist. So amazing. So Kaitlyn, really appreciate you joining us tonight. One last question. We have, when you're out searching for Walter, did you go anywhere? It was called Post Hike Brews and Bites. Did you go anywhere in the Catskills to get something to eat to replenish yourself? And what would you suggest?
I actually didn't. I was so focused on Walter that most of the time I just made a campsite meal and ate it that way. So, but the next time we go up to the Catskills, we're open to options.
Yeah. You don't have a favorite spot? Is there any cat-friendly restaurants or pizzerias that you
Good point.
and Walter hang at?
Yeah, we haven't ventured out that way yet. When we go camping, Walter loves the campfire so much. Like once we get back from our hikes, it's hard to drag him out to go anywhere. So a lot of times we're just making meals by the fire.
Yeah.
And when you bring meals, like, is it dry food for him, or is it like wet food? Is it both?
Yeah, he just gets dry food. I try to lock it up as best as can because the raccoons, the bears, everything like that. So he only gets dry food when we're out on the trails.
Nice. Incredible. Yeah. That's awesome. So once again, amazing experience that you had, and then probably a crazy experience that you had also. I'm glad you and Walter are back together. I'm glad you and Walter are back enjoying the trails and stuff. It's just crazy, awesome experience. And, I really appreciate you joining the show tonight, taking the time out and giving a little bit more information to people on, maybe if they wanted to bring their animal out, how to, that there is that chance that that animal could escape and you could go 29 days without seeing it. So, just want to give a big shout out once again to the monthly supporters and the monthly sponsors of the show. Really appreciate you guys that have donated as well. And thank you everyone who is still listening. And a big thank you to Kaitlyn for, coming on the show, having the chat and taking the time out to have this amazing experience and this wonderful ending to her and Walter coming together. So Kaitlyn, thank you very much. Have a good night, and hopefully we'll see you on the trails in the future.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I just want to thank you for listening to the show. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe and throw down a smooth review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any podcast platform that you use. You can also check daily updates of the podcast, hikes, hiking news, and local news on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the official website of the show. Remember this, you gotta just keep on living in the Catskills, man. Livin. Wicked.